Hey, I'm William,
I'm Jason.
and we're going to be doing a casual review of Spider-Man: Homecoming. Spoiler warning, and let's casually review this. Okay, so in this video we're going to be talking about Spider-Man: Homecoming, just kind of a general discussion about what we think about it. We both saw it on opening night, so let's get into it. So what were your opinions going into it?
Well, from the trailers, it definitely looked like a really good movie. Like a lot of just great directing, great just everything pretty much. But then when we were going into it, the trailers kind of almost spoiled the whole plot, right?
Yeah, there were a couple more like surprises and stuff, but it
Mhm.
was mostly. Did you see all the trailers, or?
I saw some of them.
I think these days it's hard to see all the trailers because they do like a teaser trailer
Right.
and like two of them, and then they do multiple trailers and a bunch of
Mhm.
little like 30-second spots. But yeah, I think they showed too much. Um, yeah,
It didn't really get too much in the way of it though. Like while I was watching the movie, I wasn't thinking, "Oh, I already know this is gonna happen." It was still exciting and fun to watch.
yeah, I kind of felt that. I felt like I knew where some of the beats were kind of when they were gonna hit in the movie. But it didn't ruin it. I would have preferred not to know like
Right.
everything that I knew, but I did. What other opinions do you have on it besides like marketing related? If you had any. How'd you feel about just the idea of a new Spider-Man, like
I
a
think
third time and one in the MCU?
Well, okay. There's been so many Spider-Mans, right?
Mhm.
And at first, I didn't know if it was going to be good or bad because the Amazing Spider-Man, like
Yeah.
that whole thing wasn't that great. But then the original Spider-Man, it was alright. So the third one, it was like, you didn't really know going into it whether it was going to be good or
Yeah.
bad. But after watching it, I think they definitely made a good choice, like rebooting it and just making a new
Yeah.
Spider-Man.
I think definitely part of it is just for more money, but I
Yeah.
also think, I think there's definitely artistic integrity there.
It was
in the
definitely
movie and stuff.
entertaining. So.
Yeah. How'd you feel? I thought the Vulture, Michael Keaton's Vulture, was probably like the second best villain in the MCU. How'd you feel about that?
Yeah, I thought it was definitely relatable. Like you saw why he was doing what he did.
Yeah.
And he was like a family guy. He was a respectable person and he was just trying to, make a living for his family.
Yeah, well, I don't know about respect.
Oh, well.
He like murders people, but yeah, he had like real motivations and stuff.
His motivations, like his end goal was respectable, but
Mhm.
the things he took, the things like towards that end goal
Right.
weren't.
I get you. Yeah. How'd you feel about the beginning with like where it showed the Avengers and he was getting the Chitauri attack, and then it says like 8 years later, and it cuts to modern day.
The timeline was kind of confusing at the beginning. Right?
Yeah, I've seen like Reddit discussions and stuff where they say there's one person who's kind of tweaked everything in the Marvel universe so that makes sense, where the Avengers took place in like early 2011, and that this movie takes place in like 2019 or something. So do you think that was deliberate, or do you think it was just like a mistake?
I mean, there's so many people working on this movie. I doubt it was a mistake.
Yeah, I thought it was a mistake too, because it just shows that like it's like a title card that says 8 years later.
Uh-huh.
But if that was just it, I would have been like, oh, it's just a mistake. But I saw it a second time, and Adrian, like Michael Keaton's character, he references that it started 8 years ago, like his business and stuff. But maybe that's referring to Iron Man. I don't know. Either way, I don't think it makes sense. So how do you feel about this movie as it compares to like other Spider-Man movies?
Oh, well, I've only seen one Spider-Man movie.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But the ones before, I think all the Spider-Mans are kind of cheesy. Like the first one.
I think the first one kind of, it knows what it is, It's kind
Yeah.
of self-aware. It kind of almost tries to be kind of campy. But I think the second one is cheesy just because it's dated. They try to make him like cool, like punk,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that works.
The new one wasn't as cheesy, but that one part where Peter has all the debris over him, and then Tony Stark's voice plays, and it's "If you're nothing with the
Yeah.
suit." That was really cheesy. It kind of took me out of the moment.
Yeah, me too. Like I really liked that moment because when I was going into the movie, I thought that the ferry where he's like holding it together.
Mm.
I thought that was going to be kind of similar to the moment in Spider-Man 2, which it is, on the train. It is similar to that. But in Spider-Man 2, like, there's just... It's, like, such a great scene when he's, like, has the webs and he's trying to stop the train.
Right.
Because he just, like, he's given everything he's got. And I didn't really get that with the ferry scene, but when he's under the debris, that's the kind of moment that I was looking for. Where it's just, like, it invokes, like, such emotion.
Right.
Also, I think he did a really good acting in that part. Like, a really good job. Tom Holland.
Oh, yeah.
Like, where he's just, like, screaming and stuff.
You can really feel, like, the desperation coming from him. And you can relate to him almost. Because he's just a kid. He's just a
exactly.
teenager.
It really, it kind of, like, hammers that home. How'd you feel about, like, Liz Allen as a love interest?
They didn't really do much with her. Like...
Yeah.
I mean, she was part of this movie, but then later on, I don't really see her coming back too much. Because she's moving away. And, you know, Spider-Man and MJ is just always a thing.
Right.
But now it's a different person. I mean, it's definitely a change.
Well, I mean, part of me liked that he didn't get the girl, you know?
Yeah.
Because that's just, it's kind of like a Spider-Man thing, you know? Like, he's a superhero, but he kind of has, like, a shitty life, you know?
Yeah.
How'd you feel about, like, Zendaya's character?
Zendaya? At the end, when she said she was MJ...
What do you think? Because she's not Mary Jane Watson.
Yeah, she's
because she said she's Michelle. But what do you think they're gonna do with that? Do you think that was just a little like I'm MJ, like it's just a little fun thing for the fans?
Yeah, or that's probably it. But then a lot of people
do you think she'll become a love interest?
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that she'll be the love interest. But then throughout the whole movie, she's just kind of a dick almost.
Yeah, she wasn't. There were a lot of characters in this that weren't like really much of a character. Mm-hmm. Like. I feel like they would have been well fleshed out characters just if I saw more of them. What I did see of them was like good, like Aunt May. There wasn't as much of her in this movie as I thought there would be, as much as I wanted, you know. But she was good. Her part was kind of small, you know. How'd you feel about Iron Man? Oh, go ahead.
I think all the characters in the movie were kind of like they were likable, you know, and you could relate to them, even if you didn't see that much of them.
How'd you feel about Iron Man's role in the movie? Like, you think it was too much, or?
Oh, I think it was really good. Iron Man, it was kind of like a mentor to Spider-Man. Almost like Uncle Ben, because...
Yeah.
Like, the thing Uncle Ben says about, with great power comes with great responsibility is kind of similar to if you're nothing without the suit, then you shouldn't be wearing it.
I really liked that argument after the ferry, because, like, you know, they both have, like, such strong feelings about the situation, and they articulate them so well in so few words, you know?
Right.
It's just, like, it's really well written, that part. And I think, generally, I think the whole movie is, you know, it has, like, 6 screenwriters. And so I think it's impressive that a movie with that many people working on it still had a clear and, like, focused vision.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about Flash Thompson?
I really liked the fact that he was just a guy. Like, he was just a guy that was mean. Like, he wasn't a huge buff jock.
Yeah, he was just like a dick.
Yeah. That's really realistic, too.
Yeah,
because in high school, you know, you don't get that many huge guys that are bullies. You just get some dick.
Like, yeah, exactly, yeah. How'd you feel about... I keep saying that. There's got to be another way to introduce the topic. The homemade suit. What'd you think?
Oh, I love the homemade suit. And I love the fact that at the climax, he wore the homemade suit. So that really shows his, like, internal power and not coming from the suit.
A lot of things happen sometimes in superhero movies where, you know, something bad happens and a character reacts to it, but, like, not as much as you would think. Mm-hmm. And so I like when Tony takes the suit away. Like, he's, like, devastated, you know?
Yeah.
And, like, in that conversation he has with Aunt May, like, he's, like, almost crying. I love that, because, when you put something like that in the movie, I think people relate to it, because, like, you can understand that kind of, like, crushing disappointment. Like, I could feel that, you know?
So on Twitter, there was a lot of talk about Ned being the supervillain for the next Spider-Man.
Oh, really? I haven't heard anything about that.
Well, okay, I don't know the guy's name. There was a Ned something?
In the comics? Or?
Yeah, in the comics. God, we should really do research on that.
What was the gist of it?
Well, it was Ned becomes a villain in the next Spider-Man movie, and they're kind of going against each other. I think it was Sinister Six, something about that.
Do you think they'll do that? I don't think.
Yeah, I don't think they will.
Oh, so in general, what'd you think about the movie?
I thought this was definitely a great movie, but you watched it twice, so...
Yeah, well, I definitely... I thought it was a great movie, too. I saw it the first time, and I really liked it.
Mm.
And I just wanted to, like, come back for more.
Yeah.
And kind of develop my opinions on it more.
Mm.
I'm glad that I'm, like, really happy with it. Because I think scenes like in Spider-Man 2 on the train scene, those are fantastic. Or in Civil War, when Captain America is, like, holding the helicopter back, you know?
Oh, yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah. I love scenes like that, and I really wanted this movie to have it. And I thought the ferry scene would kind of provide that, and it didn't. And so I was a little bit disappointed, but the movie was good, so I wasn't disappointed. And then when the Rebel scene came, that was fantastic.
Mm.
I really liked that. Oh, I was saving this for later. Spoilers for this part, spoilers for the whole video, but what do you think about, like, the father reveal, where the Vulture is Liz Allen's father?
That scene... Like, it shows something that the trailers didn't show, because the trailers kind of showed a lot. But that scene, that was, like, a huge surprise. I don't think it meant all that much, but of course it did have meaning, because, you know, it shows that the villain's end goals are pretty respectable. He's just a family guy. Like, he's a dad. So...
Yeah. It's kind of... It shows, like, his other side, you know?
It makes him more relatable, too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And I thought that car scene... between him and Peter, like, that is so tense. Mm-hmm. It's great. It's really well written, and just like...
Just watching him piece it together, and then just, like, the fear on Peter's face. And also, it was pretty funny, too, from the, like, watching it sometimes.
Yeah. And it's great, just, oh, man, you can see how, like, shaken Peter is.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I would be, too. Like, that's crazy. I didn't expect that at all. When that first happened, I was so happy. Because in another movie, that may not have worked, you know, but I feel like it worked here. I don't know if it was earned, but I think it really worked. Because it wasn't just for a cheap twist, you know? Right. It served a purpose. It developed his character more, you know? The Vultures.
I like the part when the Vulture tells her daughter to just go off and have fun, and then he sits in the car with Peter. And then he kind of lets him off. He says, as long as you don't bother me again, you know, I'll let you go because you saved my daughter. And then I thought that was, like, another character development thing.
Yeah. So you've seen Spider-Man 1 with Tobey Maguire.
Yeah.
Where do you, like, put this in with that?
You know, I think this Spider-Man might be the best Spider-Man.
What other thoughts about this do you have?
I just think... Like, overall, it was a great film. It was definitely worth watching. Like, for the plot, for the action, just, like, everything in it kind of worked well together.
Yeah.
Everything kind of fit, especially the dialogue. A lot of it was, like, really well written.
Yeah, it doesn't feel forced at all. Yeah.
Right.
I think it's a good movie for, like, everyone, you know, kids too.
Right.
How'd you feel about, like, the Audi product placement?
Audi did a commercial with Spider-Man in it, and that commercial was actually a really good commercial. Yeah. But then... There was a scene where they focused on one of the Audi features, the AI, and it kind of just, the camera lingered way too long.
And there was, like, no purpose for it. And Happy Hogan was just like, that's pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, I thought there would be a purpose since, like, Peter's not a good driver, and they would do that.
That would have been great if Peter, while he was driving Flash's car, if the Audi AI thing came in at that moment, then it would have made sense. But then
like, it still would have been... kind of shameless product placement, but it would have made sense. But then it's just like, wow, look how good this Audi is. Right. I love driving my Audi, Peter. Like, it's a little bit over the top.
Right.
Well, I thought Spider-Man Homecoming was pretty great. I'm excited to see what they do next. I'm excited to see his character again. I hope you like this video. That'll do it.
Alright.
See ya. I don't want to say like, comment, subscribe, because, you know, I get how YouTube analytics work. I wish I knew how to pronounce that.
How many people do you think are going to watch this? Like 2?
I don't know. Yeah, because what's the point if I'm like, comment, subscribe, share with your friends?
And
like,
there's 2.
Yeah.
2 likes.
I hope I was recording. Let me double check. Okay, I was. Thank God.